So we have some interesting news when it comes to the commentary position in Impact Wrestling, because it's being reported that Impact Wrestling color commentator Madison Rayne is reportedly leaving Impact Wrestling soon for a new career. Now, veteran former Knockouts champion Madison Rayne is reportedly leaving professional wrestling, the entire pro wrestling business. Now, Madison Rayne currently works, as I mentioned, of course, with Impact Wrestling on commentary with her husband Josh Matthews. Now, PW Insider is reporting that Madison Rayne is leaving the company to take on a new full-time job outside pro wrestling. In addition to this, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Impact officials were still looking for Madison Rayne's color commentary replacement as of last week. Now, of course, Madison Rayne has huge history with professional wrestling in general, but specifically Impact Wrestling. Rayne has worked with Impact/TNA several times over the years, first signing with the company in 2009. Before that, she worked for Shimmer and Wrestlicious, among other companies. In between her runs with Impact/TNA, she's also worked for Ring of Honor and various other promotions. She also worked for WWE in 2018 to compete in the Mae Young Classic. She lost in the first round to now NXT superstar Mercedes Martinez. Her third return to Impact Wrestling came in March of 2019 after she reportedly signed a multi-year contract the day after her previous Ring of Honor contract expired. Now, Madison Rayne has been doing commentary with Impact Wrestling since earlier this year. She, of course, leaves Impact Wrestling as a 5-time Knockouts champion and a 2-time Knockouts Tag Team champion. Of course, the Knockouts Tag Team Championships are returning next month at January's Hard to Kill pay-per-view event. She isn't the only name to be departing Impact Wrestling over the last few days and up in the upcoming weeks, of course, because Jake Crist also recently departed Impact. We spoke about that yesterday. Be sure to check out the video talking about that on the channel. Also, it's going to be expected that one half of the North, one half of the former Impact World Tag Team Champions, longest reigning Impact World Tag Team Champions in the company's history, Ethan Page, is expected to also become a free agent after his contract with Impact Wrestling expires on December 31st. So there's no word yet as to when Madison Rayne will officially finish up with Impact or who her replacement might be, but we can certainly talk about it here. Now, in terms of her full-time role that she's going to have outside the pro wrestling business, of course, as I mentioned, there's been no real reports as to what that role will be. If I had to speculate, I would probably guess it might be something to do with the fitness industry. She's been heavily involved in the fitness industry for multiple years at this point. I believe she is a personal trainer, or she does have personal training services as well. So I wouldn't be stunned in the slightest if it just meant her going full-time in that industry. As I mentioned, I think she's actually been working in that field for quite a while at this point. And quite frankly, if that is the case and she is going to the fitness industry or she is going to a full-time job, which appears that is the case, I would assume the reason why, and because some people might say, well, why would you leave Impact Wrestling? You know, you work with your husband, you work in the profession that you love, etc. You've got all this history with Impact Wrestling. Why would you leave? Well, I would assume, given it's a full-time job, I would assume you've got better money and better job security at the end of the day. That is the nuts and bolts of the situation. That is how simple it can be when it comes to stuff like that. You have to remember, right? We've spoken about it quite a lot here on the channel, the whole independent contractor ruling in professional wrestling. It's not only limited to WWE. Impact Wrestling is no different. AEW is no different. MLW is no different. Ring of Honor is no different. No pro wrestling businesses are any different when it comes to the independent contractor ruling. So if she did get a full-time job in a variety of fields, whatever that field may be, whether it is fitness or whether it is in any corporate company, she would very likely have insurance, health insurance, medical benefits. You have to remember, you don't get that as an independent contractor. You don't get that as a pro wrestler. We are living in a pandemic. We are living in difficult times financially in this current climate. If you can get a full-time job, that does give you medical insurance, benefits, all that other stuff that can actually protect you, protect your family. It's very difficult to turn down. And there's been multiple pro wrestlers over the years that have been working in companies, smaller companies, and even in WWE. They get a job or a job offer of something that is full-time and that is more secure, maybe even financially better. They'll leave it. Vicky Guerrero, she left before going back to AEW, when she left WWE, I think she became a pharmacist or something like that. Again, full-time job with all the medical benefits, health benefits, all that kind of stuff, health insurance, dental insurance, etc. And it's very difficult to turn down when it comes to pro wrestlers because they don't get that and they never get that. You could argue, well, they can afford it. Some people can't. So when this job offer does come up, sometimes it's very difficult for them to turn down, unfortunately. And I think also you have to realize that when it comes to a promotion, a company like Impact Wrestling, this isn't like it's a full-time gig. This is if she's doing color commentary, I'm assuming she might be helping out backstage. She might be helping out with some of the talent at the TV tapings. If that's the case, she's maybe working 4 or 5 days a month at most. Especially at the moment where they're taping TV in these big batches. So yeah, she might be working 4 or 5 days a month if she's even at the TV tapings, considering that they do a lot of the commentary after the fact as well. They do commentary and a lot of post-production anyway in Impact Wrestling. She might not even be at the tapings. They might just be doing the commentary, overdubbing it at home, and like I said, that might just be a couple of days a week. So transitioning from that to a full-time job, 28 days a month, whatever, or 20, 25 days a month, then that's a lot more workload and probably a higher amount of money as well. So it's, when you look at it from that perspective, it's not totally surprising if that offer is on the table, shall we say. So I'm assuming that when it comes to her role in being a color commentator, I think Impact Wrestling wanted to see if there was this obvious chemistry with her and her husband, Josh Matthews. Of course, if you're not aware, in real life, Madison Rayne and Josh Matthews are married. They are together, and I think they wanted to see if that obvious chemistry in real life, could that transfer over to the broadcast booth. I'll give you my opinion on our commentary in a second. I've mentioned it before here on the channel. It's no real surprise. But obviously, it's always sad to see anyone leave a promotion that you support, and especially someone like Madison Rayne, who has so much history with the promotion, as I mentioned. I speak about this all the time. When you ask people who do you most associate them with a promotion, so like when you say, I don't know, Rob Van Dam, who do you most associate him with? ECW, Tommy Dreamer, ECW, The Rock, WWE. When you said Madison Rayne, weird company to put her in, but when you say Madison Rayne, you associate her with Impact Wrestling. She's best known for her time in Impact Wrestling, so obviously it's sad to see anyone that has so much history with the company leaving. I did still think that she still had something to offer. And I did still think that she could offer a lot when it comes to producing, working the occasional matches. She worked the Knockouts Gauntlet at Slammiversary, of course, and I did feel that she had more matches in her. And even if it was another different on-camera role, I felt that she had more to give the company. I'm not going to change my tune or opinion on her commentary. I've said several times I wasn't massively sold on her commentary. Not that I thought it was bad or anything like that. I just felt she could do more in other roles as opposed to commentary. I really enjoyed her role as hosting the segment backstage, the locker room talk or locker talk. I thought that was good. I enjoyed whenever she got involved in knockouts matches because, of course, she's a tremendous wrestler and she's got so much history of Impact Wrestling. I felt that she could have been a manager for a specific knockout that Impact would have wanted to push. She also could have been a producer for the knockouts as well. Again, I'm not sure if she was or not anyway, but I just felt there were other areas for her on TV and also backstage that would be more beneficial for her in Impact Wrestling. And again, it wasn't a case of, oh, I don't like her commentary. I felt there were better options, especially when you have to remember this is a company that does have Don Callis. Don Callis, of course, Impact Wrestling Executive Vice President. This is a company that does have Don Callis available and had previously had Don Callis as a color commentator for Impact Wrestling after filling in for D'Angelo De Niro. I just thought that for me, he is the best color commentator out there right now. I know people disagree with that. I just think he's that good. I've loved his work going back to when he was a color commentator in New Japan, and in addition to all the great work he's done for Impact behind the scenes as an executive, I thought he did a fantastic job on commentary too. So I always wanted to see more Don Callis on commentary. That's why I always felt the pay-per-views were so great and are so great of Impact, because Don Callis is on commentary and he just adds something else to the product. He just makes it feel more special. He has a very unique way of conveying the story that's being told in the ring or being told to us on the TV screen. And it's not a slight against Madison Rayne. I just felt that Don Callis was better in that role. So I just always felt that, why can't we have Don Callis on TV and why can't Madison Rayne go into a different role or something like that? I felt that she did fine on commentary. As I mentioned, it just wasn't for me. But regardless, I suppose, of my opinion on her quality of commentary, you have to give her credit for really quite a trailblazing role that she's had in Impact Wrestling as a color commentator. You know, she's followed in the footsteps of other female color commentators for pro wrestling companies. Of course, Renee Young on Monday Night Raw with WWE. Beth Phoenix currently in NXT as being female color commentators in a male-dominated or historically male-dominated industry. Being a female color commentator is smashing that glass ceiling, so you have to commend her on that, and it's a hugely significant role for her to be in, and I felt that she did well. And I suppose that in comparison to a Renee Young and a Beth Phoenix in WWE, yes, of course, Madison Rayne was working on a much smaller stage and platform than Renee Young on Monday Night Raw and Beth Phoenix in NXT, but in comparison to them, Madison Rayne worked in a 2-person booth as opposed to Renee Young and Beth Phoenix, who worked in 3-people booths. And I always preferred the 2-person booth anyway. So credit to Madison Rayne. Is she technically the first female to do regular color commentary in a major promotion in North America in a 2-person booth? Probably, I think so. That's a massive achievement. That's a huge achievement, and I'm sure that would inspire lots of people, lots of young females watching at home going, you know what, previously I would have thought I'm not able to do that, and I see Madison Rayne, a former female pro wrestler, doing color commentary on a major promotion in North America. That's a big deal. I can do that in a 2-person booth. So I think that she was incredibly inspiring in that sense, and a trailblazer as well in that sense. So it's a massive achievement for her. So as I mentioned, it is sad to see her depart. It's always sad to see anyone with so much association with Impact Wrestling depart the company. I didn't see it coming when the news did break yesterday that Madison Rayne was going to be leaving Impact Wrestling. It kind of did come out of nowhere. I don't know if we'd really heard any rumblings about that. In comparison to the other contract announcements when it comes to Ethan Page, Taya Valkyrie, Sami Callihan, who is staying, of course, but other names that potentially could be leaving the company in the near future. Madison Rayne was something that really wasn't discussed. Again, I don't know if it's a case of her contract's coming up anyway, or just a sense that she's got another role and she's just said, look, I'm doing the color commentary, but I've got a full-time role. I've got all these benefits, health insurance, medical insurance, job security, job stability. I think it's best for me to leave, and it's too good of an opportunity for me to turn down. I would have assumed it's just a case of Impact going, you know what, we don't want to stand in your way there. But it did come out of nowhere, and I did feel previously that, you know, with Josh Matthews as her husband, I felt that as long as Josh Matthews was with the company and on color commentary, I felt that she would probably stay, because, of course, Josh Matthews isn't just a commentator, the lead play-by-play guy, easy for me to say, with Impact Wrestling, but he's also the vice president of digital for Impact Wrestling as well. He's also an executive with the company as well, so he's got a lot of sway, as it were. I felt that she would always be there as long as he was there, and they did have a good partnership on commentary, but she looks just to be the latest name to leave the promotion now. And obviously, we wish her the best of luck in her new role, and she's got so much history with the promotion. I think back of Madison Rayne and all the great stuff that she's done with the promotion on her variety of runs that she's had. As I mentioned at the top of the video, she's a former 5-time Impact Knockouts champion. She's a former Impact Knockouts Tag Team champion twice as well with, I think it's Gail Kim and I was going to say Tara, but I don't think it is. It's with Gail Kim, and I think the other one, of course, would be with the Beautiful People. It might be with Tara as well. I'll have to double check that one. But as I mentioned, so that's 7 championships she's held in Impact Wrestling, and I did feel that she would somehow maybe get involved with the Knockouts Tag Team Championship tournament. Of course, that's ongoing. We're going to crown new Knockouts Tag Team Champions at Hard to Kill. I thought potentially she would get involved in that. Now we know why she hasn't, because of course she's leaving very soon, so that might be why. In terms of her future of Impact Wrestling, do I think she'll eventually be back and make some cameo appearances? Of course I do, and I don't think you can ever say never, right, is the phrase in pro wrestling, and it is cliche, but it is very, very true, unfortunately, to the naysayers, that I think she probably will make some cameos at some point. As I said, she's got so much history with the company, and her husband, quite frankly, still works there in a senior position on and off camera. When it comes to her career in Impact, should this be the final appearance, which I don't think it is, you have to make a good argument to say why Madison Rayne isn't an Impact Hall of Famer, because she is. She is absolutely a future Impact Hall of Famer to me. You look at what she's done in the company, as I mentioned, 5-time Knockouts champion, 2-time Knockouts Tag Team champion, female color commentator for Impact Wrestling on Access TV, legitimately a locker room leader, one of the biggest knockouts in the history of the company in terms of achievements, absolutely. So there is so much history there for the company that she would probably have to be a surefire Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer. So potentially as well, like I said, when it comes to returns and cameos, we could see Madison Rayne make a return or a cameo in the future, possibly for an Impact Hall of Fame announcement. Who knows? So I think she'll be back. I think she'll be back at some point. Cameos, one-off appearances, Hall of Fame. You have the gauntlet match at Bound for Glory every year. Possibly Madison Rayne. She can make an appearance there. In terms of who replaces her, I think what we will do here on the channel, we'll do a more in-depth video, maybe about 5 or more people that could potentially replace Madison Rayne, or who I would like to see replace Madison Rayne as the color commentator in Impact Wrestling. As I mentioned at the moment, and I mentioned in the report there at the start, Impact Wrestling at the moment is still searching for this replacement for Madison Rayne as the regular color commentator for Impact on Access TV. If I were to guess off the top of my head, who would probably now, the first name would probably be Matt Striker. I think Matt Striker's done quite a bit of commentary with Impact recently. He actually works as a producer for the company backstage, behind the scenes as well. At Bound for Glory, he did the pre-show of Don Callis. I think he's done some episodes of Explosion with Don Callis as well. I think he might have even done an episode of Impact with Josh Matthews recently as well, in addition to that. So I would assume that given that Matt Striker's already there, he's got the broadcast experience, does broadcast with AAA, and then of course WWE, SmackDown, ECW, all that kind of stuff. So Matt Striker certainly has the experience, the voice. He's an excellent color commentator. I believe he probably worked with Josh Matthews as well during their time in WWE and ECW. I might be wrong with the time frames there, but I don't think so. I think they probably did. Nevertheless, I think he's probably the right guy for the job. I think he's an excellent addition to the announce table, so he could easily fit in. Personally, of course, I would love for Don Callis to be the regular color commentator once again every single week on Impact on Access TV going forward. I just don't think that's probably the case now, considering that he is so busy being an executive for Impact Wrestling. Of course, he's got the Kenny Omega storyline. He's the manager, mentor for the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. He's going to be appearing on AEW Dynamite too. There's obviously that rumor about him leaving. I don't know how legitimate that is at the moment because, as we've mentioned before, he doesn't have a talent contract. I would assume he has an employee contract. Those contracts don't expire unless he is an independent contractor, which I just don't see a corporate employer being. So, especially an executive. So I don't know if he will be leaving, but of course Don Callis could be someone that does come in. If Don Callis is back to being regular color commentator every single week, maybe he is just using the microphone at this point as propaganda to hit back at Tony Khan and hit back at AEW on the airwaves. That could be a lot of fun as well. So I'd obviously love to see Don Callis step back into that role. If it's not Don Callis, and it's not Matt Striker, who could it be? I suppose some other names that are working backstage for Impact right now. Jimmy Jacobs, obviously well known for his ability on the mic. He does do quite a few interviews for Impact Wrestling, hosts the post show as well on YouTube. So I could see maybe Jimmy Jacobs stepping into that role. That would certainly be interesting as well. And if they wanted to stick with a female and keep that balance there, of course they could potentially see if Gail Kim could work in that role for Impact Wrestling. Of course, she also works as a producer backstage for Impact Wrestling. She also works in talent relations too. Of course, Impact Hall of Famer. She's got so much history with the company as well. So maybe Gail Kim as well. I would suspect, though, if I had to predict right now, it would be Matt Striker. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. But as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on Madison Rayne leaving Impact Wrestling? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll do my best to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about Impact Wrestling, AEW, WWE, all that fun stuff in the land and weird world of pro wrestling. So get involved with the community, drop a comment below and share your opinion. All opinions are welcome. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button as well. Really does help us out here on YouTube, go up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.